There are some who'd make me out to be the villain of this here story.
Let's don't let a good thing die.
First of all, congratulations on the film. Let's start with this. First reaction of getting the role of Elvis. Where were you? When was it? What happened?
He's a young singer from Memphis, Tennessee. Give him a war.
I had 5 months prior to that moment where I just was experimenting with Baz, where we were trying to figure out, is this possible? Am I at all the right guy for this? And so we had these 5 months, and then I had to do an official screen test, which is the moment that the studio signs off. From that moment, then it was a week that I didn't hear anything. And so then I'm going, I don't know if I got it at all. And I woke up and Baz was calling me. And so I looked at the phone, I thought either he's gonna tell me that I don't have it or I do. And I was nervous, and I pick up the phone, and he's really dramatic in the way that he kind of goes through life. So he goes, he sounded kind of like downcast, and he goes, hey Austin, I just want to be the first one to call you and just say, are you ready to fly, Mr. Presley?
Fanny, nice to meet you. Hello.
And he says the same line that Carl says, and I felt so incredibly overjoyed. And immediately that's followed by the massive pressure you feel. And so I just got down to work that day. I immediately was calling people going, okay, how do I get my voice in the right place? How do I move and all those things? And so that was my process.
Well, speaking of that process, you mentioned a little bit about your voice. What was the process of you getting into the role? What kind of training or method acting did you go through?
It's tricky because his voice is so recognizable.
The trouble? Look right in my face.
I want to feel like I'm going from my voice to his voice constantly, and so I just tried to live in that for 2 years, and just so that way, no matter what, if we were improvising on set, it wasn't like I had worked on lines. It felt like my voice at a certain point. So, and I was very fortunate. I got to work with some of the greatest dialect coaches, singing coaches, but his voice changes a lot over the years as well. So it was finding where his voice changes and figuring out the subtle things that he did, and yeah, it was just obsession. It was 2 years of that.
Well, there's a lot of details, and I definitely saw that. Do you feel like a part of Elvis kind of stayed in you after this whole film was done?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. Well, for the last question, let's talk a little bit about how it was working with Tom Hanks.
To promote you, Mr. Presley.
Oh man, he's just the greatest. Have you talked to him yet?
Not yet.
Oh man, he's the best. He's everything I hoped that he would be.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children reaching for eternity.
I'm always afraid when I meet one of my heroes, and with him, he just broke all that down immediately, gave me the biggest hug, and was so kind, and just opened up to me, and we ended up just having the greatest conversations.
Well, thank you. That'll be it for me.
Oh man, well thank you. I wish we could talk longer.
Things are too dangerous to say. Sing.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Elvis Presley.
This ain't no nostalgia show. We're gonna do something different.